Hey everyone, so today we're going to be starting our first vector portrait. This is a way to digitally draw portraits in the program Google Drawings, the same program that you use to make your All About Me collage, and maybe you've done a couple other projects with it so far in class. But today we're going to be making a portrait of Lizzo, and I've already made one over here that you can see. So this is what we're kind of going for. So vector portraits is when you take a real life photograph and you're basically like copy and pasting using the Google Drawing tool over. So the first thing you're going to need to do is obviously pull up Google Drawings. Remember, you can find that from the Google search engine if you just search Google Drawings. And this is in your Google Drive. So everything you do here is going to be automatically saved into your Google Drives, which is really great. So you don't have to worry about saving or anything. And then the second thing, after you've got Google Drawings opened up, is you're going to need to pull the picture of Lizzo that I've posted on Canvas for you. Now, I've already got it here, but it's basically you're just going to copy and paste. Make sure that you're doing this photo of Lizzo, not one that you find on the internet, because I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. If you do your own picture, you're not going to be able to follow along in this video because everything will be different. So you've got this picture. You're in Google Drawings. You've copy and pasted the picture there. And what we need to do first, if you remember from the All About Me collage, I asked you to think of this white kind of grid square as your canvas. So everything that's on this square will be on your picture. Everything that's not on the square will not be included when you download this image. So we need to make this picture of Lizzo bigger. It needs to be the same size as our canvas so that Lizzo will be, the biggest part of the canvas. So go ahead and just drag the image so that it fits perfectly over the canvas. So I'm going to go ahead and just drag it to the side first. And now it's way too long, so I need to go back and make it a little shorter. And you might have to like play around with this for a little bit until you get it exactly right. So now this photo of Lizzo is the same size as my canvas. Now it is a little blurry if you'll notice, and that's okay. A little bit of blurriness is not a big deal. But if it was super pixelated and super blurry, we would need to find a better quality image. But this is going to work for what we need to do. So you're going to click on the image so that it's highlighted in blue, and we're going to move it off of our canvas. So I'm just using my left arrow on the keyboard and I'm sliding Lizzo all the way off of my canvas. So now I've got a photo of Lizzo and I've got my blank canvas where I can make my drawing. Just like in my finished one, I have my photo here and then this is my actual canvas. This is the actual drawing that I did. So from here, we can start drawing. Now in vector drawing, there's pretty much only a few tools that you're going to be using, and they're all up here in the toolbox. Your best friend is going to be this line tool, and you're going to scroll all the way down and click on the curve line. Curve line is going to allow you to make any shape of line, and it's going to create shapes for you every time you close off that line. So click on the curve line tool, and now you see you've got this like little cross on your mouse, on your cursor, and you're literally just going to start going through and cutting out shapes from the picture and putting them on your canvas. Now I'm going to start with Lizzo's head, and in vector drawing you work from big to small. So I'm literally just going through and I'm taking kind of the bigger shape of all of her hair and all of her head. And every time I click, it makes another point on my line. So you can see my line in blue. And I'm just going through. It's not exact. It's kind of more of a rough shape. But that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfectly exact. You just kind of want an idea of what that whole shape is. So I'm going all the way around, getting all the important curves and shapes, and I'm going to connect right back to my start. And now I've created my first shape. Now this is the color that the shape is always going to show up as. And obviously that's not the color of Lizzo's hair or her skin color or anything. So we're going to come up here to the paint can and we're just going to change the color of the shape. Now I'm going to go ahead and make it black because her hair is black and most of this shape is her hair, right? So I've made it black and it's also got a border. Almost always, except when we do eyes, and we'll talk about that, your border needs to be transparent. So just get in the habit. Every time you make a new shape, come over here to the border, make it transparent. You don't want any like thick borders. That's going to make your picture look really weird. So always border transparent. That's really key. Okay, so now I've got the shape and I need to move it over to my canvas. So my cursor's still in the line tool. You see I've got that little cross. So I need to go back to regular mouse. So just click on the arrow. And now I've got this shape with the blue square around it and I can move it over. And I'm just going to slide it over because it's the same height and width as my canvas. So it should be on the exact same level. Okay, so once again, I'm using that arrow key, my right arrow on my keyboard, and I'm sliding this shape all the way over until it's about in the middle, just like it is in the real picture. So I think that's about right. I might even just, yeah, I think that's good. Okay, so now there's the basic shape and I've got, that's gonna be her hair really. So I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna add her face now. I think that's the kind of the next biggest shape I see. So I'm going back to the curved line and I'm gonna be clicking and clicking all the way around, trying to outline just her face. Dun, dun, dun. Click, click, click. Vector drawing is all about the clicks. And then I come back to where I started and it's gonna make a shape for me. Now it's black because the shape I just made was black. Google remembers that for you, which can sometimes be nice, but obviously I don't want her face to be this color. I want it to be closer to her skin color. So I'm gonna go through and I'm just gonna find, I think that's like a good color brown for her skin. And I'm gonna make sure that my border's still transparent. And then I'm gonna go back to the mouse, the arrow at the top, until I see the blue square, and I'm gonna slide that shape over as well. This is basically all it is, guys. It's this repetition over and over. So now you can even see, like, you're starting to see a person, right? It's that easy. So next, I think I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna add the neck, and then I'm gonna add her body, kind of the upper torso that you can see. So back to the curve tool again. Let's do the neck first. So I'm gonna go in, add the neck, and you can change these lines a little bit. So, if you think your shape is like not exactly perfect, that's okay. You can go through and change it later, and I'll show you how to do that. So I'm gonna change the color back to that skin tone I was using. Make sure my border's transparent. Click the arrow, slide that shape over. Now this might be where it doesn't quite line up perfectly, and that's okay. See how I've got that white space right there? I definitely don't want that, right? So I think what I need to do is I'm first gonna zoom in so I've got a better view. So I've zoomed in a little bit, and any shape that you've already made, if you see like some, irregularities like that, if you just double click on the shape, these purple dots will appear. These are all the points that you made when you were originally creating the shape, and you can just slide them over so that you end up getting the shape that you want. So I'm going to do that as well for the neck. I'm just going to make the neck a little bit smaller. And this is kind of where you kind of have to play around with it and make it your own. And then I'm going to make the hair a little bigger to cover up that white space. I think that's my best move. And maybe a little bit over here so that it lines up nicely. And let's fix this up as well. So this is where you kind of have to zoom in and get a little picky until you make sure it's right. So even that's like still not quite perfect, but that's okay. When I come back to add like shadows and parts of the face, I'll remember that. Okay, so now let's do the torso. So again, curved line going all the way around. And guys, I know this can be a little tedious, but you can make some really, really cool things with it. And I think it's really worth the effort. I think I'm going to have to start over. So if I need to start over, you just click the mouse pad. And I need to zoom out so that I can see it a little better. And go fit to screen. Oops. Accidentally went too far, but that's okay. I can just press the forward button and it automatically saves for me. It's still there. So that's a good reminder that everything is automatically saved. All right, so find that curve tool again and let's go for it one more time. So I'm just kind of going where I think that the jacket would be. I'm going to hide it behind the hair in a second, and I'll show you how to do that. So going all the way around, getting all the important lines. Just going straight across, so that's pretty easy. It looks like you won't have this. You'll be able to go straight across, but I've got a bit of an issue there, so I'll fix that. All the way around, back to my original shape. Oops. For some reason, it got a little funny, so I'm just going to do the undo button. And let's try that again. So all the way around. Let's see if we can get it that time. There. And like I said, I've got this little recording button here, and that's why I had to cut out over there, but I'll fix it when I move it over. So I'm just going to go ahead and make this maybe red because her shirt's red. And I'm going to get rid of that border, make sure it's transparent. Then I'm going to move it over and fix it up a bit. Now, her torso, it looks real wild right now because her torso is in front of her hair, and we definitely don't want that. Her hair comes over her torso, right? So what we can do for that, if you put 2 fingers on your mouse pad and click once, 2 fingers click once, and you get the copy and paste toolbar to come up, I'm just going to send the red shape that I just made to the back. So I'm going to click order, and I'm going to click send to back. And that's going to put it behind all of my other shapes, just like her torso is supposed to be. And now here I can go back and I can fix, you know, all this up, which is good. And yep, good. And I don't really have to worry about if it goes over my square at all because that's not going to show up in the final image. Remember, anything that's outside of the square will not show up in the final image. So I'm not really worried about this extra space here too much. I'm just going to make that arm a little bigger. Good. Okay, so from here, well, we can go ahead and do the jacket. Well, let's do the jacket. So I'm going to pause this and I'm going to add in the jacket. but it's the same, that curve tool, adding in the shapes. So you go ahead and add the jacket as well, these two different shapes, and leave the red the same. And then we'll come back and we'll start working on the details of the face, okay? Okay guys, so I've added in the jacket, hopefully you have as well. And now we're ready to focus in on the features of the face. So once again, I'm gonna zoom in. And this is the most important part really, is getting some recognizable features of the face. So I'm coming back to my curve line, my favorite tool, and I'm going to do the eyes and the eyebrows first. So to do the eyes, you're just following the shapes that are already there. So I've got one here, and I'm going to drag it over. And it's at the same eye level right now as the picture, so you shouldn't have to move it up and down. You're just moving it side to side. And I'm going to make this black because she has such big eyelashes. I'm going to make these the eyelashes. And then I'm coming back and I'm going to do the inside of the eye next. And you might even want to be a little bit more zoomed in than I am. Oops. Yep, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in way more. So I'm going to do that inside shape of the eye. Just that clicking, and that one got a little messed up, but so I think I'm going to have to do that one more time as well. This is the hardest part. This is the part you really have to commit to. And I'm going to make this white because the outside of her eye is mostly white. Oh, that was the border, but that's okay. And then I'm going to scoot it over as well. Okay, so now I've got like some eyelashes, I've got the inside of her eye, and then to do the actual eye, your iris, the inside of your eye, the colored part of your eye, is a circle, right? So why don't we, instead of making that our own circle, let's just use the shape that's already there. So I've gone in, I've picked out the shape tool, and I'm going to draw my own circle. You can make it a little bigger. And then her eyes, I think they're dark brown. So I'm going to make them a super dark brown. And then I'm going to do the pupil, the little black circle of your eye. And that's a circle again. So let's just use the shape that's already there. And let's make it black because almost all pupils are black. So now we've got what looks like an eye, right? And we can even, like, maybe I want to make my pupil a little bit bigger. And a really great way to make your eye look realistic is to add a light reflection. That's a little white dot in your pupil. So take another, your smallest circle yet, and just add, oops, that's not a small circle at all. Let's try that again. So let's add one more teeny little circle for the light reflection in your eye. It's where the light bounces off of your pupil. So really small. And I'm going to keep it totally white. And I might just move it up a little bit. Nope, it's not right. So you kind of have to play around with it a little bit. It's hard because it's so tiny. But luckily we only have 2 eyes, so it's not going to be that bad. Good, so now we've got one eye, and I'm going to go ahead and do the other one the exact same way. and then we'll fill in the eyebrows, okay? All right, guys, so I've got both of my eyes over here, and now I'm gonna just go in and add the eyebrows. The eyes are the hardest part, so if you've made it through, you've got 2 eyes on your drawing, then you are almost in the home stretch, but you've definitely conquered the most difficult part of this. So well done, you're gonna make it. So I'm just going through and I'm just copying over those eyes really or those eyebrows. Sending them over, and that's really gonna start giving her life. And same thing again over here. So guys, the reason that we're doing Lizzo is that the next step of this project is for you to choose your own hero to draw. So if your Lizzo's like not totally perfect, this is the introduction. This is the practice to vector drawing. So if you want to like try out a couple different methods, figure some things out here, that's totally fine. You know, make this what you need it to be, because there's going to be a bigger project after this. So let this be your practice. Let this be where you try out, you know, making some different methods. Let this be the place where you make mistakes, okay? So I'm going to skip the nose. I'm going to do the nose last. And I'm going to now go in and do her lips. So I'm just, once again, making that shape. I'm going to do both the upper and the lower lip together because they're pretty similar, and I'm going to make them some nice red lips and send it over. About where it needs to be. Now I'm just going to do the inside parts of her mouth where, you know, she's got those little shadows and her 2 front teeth as well. Okay, so I'm going to make that white because most of that space is her teeth. And I'm going to send it over. Dun-dun. And then I'm going to create 2 little shadows so that it looks more like her teeth. And this I'm just going to kind of free draw because they're just little black shadows. Make it black, and over on the other side as well. So really the most important part of vector drawing, other than, you know, all the clicking, is noticing where the shadows are, where the highlights are, and just copying that over. That is all it is. All right, and I might just give her a little line so it looks like her teeth are separated. And that I could just do with like a regular line tool. But this is really not necessary. I think you would get the idea even without a line. Oh, maybe not the line, actually. It looks like not a good choice. Let's just leave it like that. And I think this all just needs to be a little bit smaller. Make it look more like her lips. Good. Okay, so now we're going to go in and do the nose. So we're just going to do the curved line tool, but we're not going to make shapes with it. We're just going to make the basic kind of outline of her nose. So I'm going to get to the end and I'm going to double click. And that's going to almost create a line for me. Let's see, this one didn't really want to work there. Let's try it one more time. Okay, so when you're trying to make a line tool, sometimes when you double click at the end, these kind of like shapes still appear because Google Drawing doesn't realize that you're wanting just a line, not a shape. So a really quick fix for that is just to go to the paint can and make the inside transparent. Then you've got just a line, and this you're actually going to use your border and make the line that you want. And then you can send it over. I'm just gonna curve mine out a little bit more, fit the right shape. And now I'm gonna send it over. So if you want just a line, if you're trying to like define something on the face, especially like the nose, just remember to make your paint can transparent. Then it won't look like a shape anymore. Okay, so we're like getting parts of the nose together. Let's go ahead and do the nostrils. There's one. I'm just gonna go ahead and do both of them, and then I can send them over. There's two. We're almost to the end. After we get the nostrils, all that's left is shadows and highlights. So we are getting there. Okay, so we're going to keep this real simple for shadows and highlights. All we're going to do is do an under neck shadow and a couple highlights on the nose and forehead. So we're going to speed through it. Under neck shadow. Everybody's got a big shadow under their neck. That's what defines your face from your neck. So we want to make sure that we get that in. Oops. So there it is. I'm going to make it a dark brown. And I'm going to send it over. And suddenly we have a face. Got a couple of fix-ups to do here with the purple dots. Remember, to get to the purple dots, you just have to double click on your shape. And then you can make all the adjustments that you may need to. Bet you never thought you'd be looking at Lizzo's face for this long. All right, so there is a neck shadow, and obviously I could continue to clean it up just a little bit. I want to make sure her hair is not forgotten back there. There. So now she's really looking like a person. Starting to really get those characteristics in. Okay, so let's add just a couple of highlights. Highlights are the brightest part of your face. It's where the light shines the brightest on your face. So she's got a big one right here that I'm just gonna kind of generally find that shape of. And I'm not gonna make it as white as the picture. I'm actually just gonna make it a skin tone lighter than the original and send that over. And I'm going to do one on the top of her nose as well. Typically almost on everyone, no matter the picture, you have this little white circle on the top of your nose. It's the lightest part of your face because your nose is what sticks out the furthest on your face. So it's where the light first hits and is the brightest. Sending that over. And that's just about all I'm gonna do. So let's zoom out and see how we're looking. Yeah, so that's about it. Obviously, there's loads more shadows and highlights you could add in, and you can play around with that a lot. Like if you wanted to add in these highlights, under the eye highlights, all kinds of things like that, that would be totally great. The more details you add, the better it's gonna look. So the absolute last thing that we're gonna do is add a background. And this is super easy, and then you are done. Unless you wanted to add more details in the hair, the jacket, or anything like that. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to Insert, Image, Search the Web, just like we did for the All About Me collage. And you're gonna look for a background. You can make it whatever color background you want. I'm gonna stick to like the yellow one, like the picture. So yellow background, enter, find the picture that you want to use. I recommend sticking to a solid color, but if you want to do stripes or something, that's fine. I'm just gonna do like, I don't know, I like the little texture one. Maybe I'll do that. Click, drag it over to your canvas. Maybe. Drag it over. Here it comes. Oh, I like that actually. And you're gonna fit it to your canvas and cover up your Lizzo. Fit it all the way across, all the way down. And then you're gonna, 2 fingers, click on the mouse pad. 2 fingers, click on the mouse pad, let the toolbar come up, and you're gonna send this background, you're gonna send the order it, send to back, order, send to back. And then you've got a background for your Lizzo. Okay, so now, just so you can see what it looks like, I'm gonna delete my original photo, and I'm gonna download this. File, download, JPEG. It's gonna pop up right here, and then you can see there's your Vector Portrait of Lizzo. So this is the exemplar. This is what you're going for. Go ahead, download it as a JPEG, JPG, and then upload it to Canvas, just like this, all right? Great job, guys. Feel free to watch this video over and over again if you need help with steps. And as always, send me an email or message me if you need any help with this. The great thing about Google Drawings is you can share this with me and I can draw alongside with you. So I can help you get those lines or those shadows better if you're having any issues with that. So feel free to just share this with me and tell me what you need help with and I'll draw along with you. All right? Great job, guys. Looking forward to seeing all of your Lizzos.